What's going on, my Jack brother? Coach Scott here. Today I'm joined by one of my coaching clients, David, who's going to share how he finally beat his food addictions to drop 18 pounds during the past 3 months working together, going from a 38 to a 32-inch waist, and finally seeing his abs for the first time. You guys are going to absolutely love this conversation. Let's get to it. All right, David, my brother, let's dive right into the diet changes that you've made that have really contributed to the great success that you've had in the past 3 months.
Well, my diet changes have come from a place of wanting to be lean. So my goal initially, I wanted to be bigger, be more muscular. And then once you made me aware that it would serve me better to lean down first, I removed my focus so much from the scale and wanting to weigh a lot to that. So the biggest changes that I made came shortly after the book you recommended, which is The Hungry Brain. And I realized that the snacking, I've always eaten healthy meals my life, my entire adult life, and I've been known for that, friends and family. However, it's the closet snacking that was keeping me very, very fluffy. And so the theobromine in the dark chocolate, it just blew my mind when you had me monitor via the MyFitnessPal, and I realized that I was eating large quantities of healthy food, macros, but never watched calories. Up until then, I had no relationship with calories, and I realized that everything I was doing was putting me at like 4,000, 5,000 calories. I only weigh, at the time, I only weighed 170, worked out, pretty much most of my adult life off and on. And my body fat percentage was always hovering at like 18 to 20% body fat. So yeah. I cut that out. It was a gradual thing. I remember the first message you sent me was, "Hey brother, you need to be under that 2,000 calories." And I was like, how in the world can I be under 2,000 calories? And now gradually over I think you've been mentoring me for about the last 3 months, right? 4 months?
Yep, just about 3 months here. Yeah, 12 weeks, almost spot on here.
So I've gone from a miserable 2,000 calories ceiling when you first broke it to me, to a happy under 1,500. I'm at 14 and some change, and I'm happy because I eat bland food. I'm focusing on maintaining high fiber because I'm 48 years old. The carbohydrates that fuel me. So now it's not so much of what to stay away from, but it's a challenge to get high nutrient dense food, a high level of nutrition in 1,400 calories, 14 and some change. Well, let's just call it we'll call it under 15. And I'm doing the shakes in the morning, not with a blender, because I have a really bad food addiction. It is there. There's no doubt about it. So anything that tastes good flips the switch in my brain. And as long as I stay away from the switch flip in my brain, I'm happy. So it's like unflavored protein powder, creatine, and Maca. If you've ever had anything interesting to taste, that black Maca with no flavoring, it is really strong. However, I'm so much happier. So right now I weighed in at 56 pounds even this morning. And my last body composition test was 12% at 59 pounds. So I'm guessing that it's a little lower than that, which I've never been this lean before.
So 159, 156 pounds, not 56.
156 pounds, sorry.
156, yeah. So, okay, so stats here. So people are probably thinking, all right, 1,400 calories, that's low. I mean, you're not a very large guy. You're roughly my size. You're 5'8", 155, 156 pounds. You've dropped about 14 pounds, roughly 13, 14 pounds in the past 12 weeks. So a nice, slow, steady, consistent process here. So I really like the whole bland food approach. And again, that was something that the book, The Hungry Brain, really, it kind of resonated with you. And there was even a time during this transformation where, again, to try to up your fiber intake, you started adding some fruits in there, and you were kind of concerned, like with that sweetness added in, would it spark some cravings again? So what was that experience like for you?
Well, the cravings were terrible. But once I pushed through and accepted that, again, I believe in the mentorship program. I believe in mentorship theory for every aspect of life. And for you to tell me it's okay, what you're feeling is normal. That suffrage, of hunger, it'll eventually satiate. And so it was the belief system that changed. So once I accepted that I am somewhere where you told me I should be, or that it's okay to be, that's where the shift change happened. So I was having problems with fiber because low calorie means low everything, right? So fiber was where I found some issues. So I went and did some research, and I found that raspberries and blackberries are the highest fiber to carbohydrate ratio. So I've been really focusing on at least 6 ounces of raspberries or blackberries a day, and I shifted away from lesser fiber carbohydrates. And
I love it. I just love that you're so proactive with all of this, and it's so much more than just body recomposition. You're looking at overall health, overall well-being, and just feeling your best, thriving in life. So it was great to see you. It was great to see you looking for those high fiber foods. Simple little things like that. I mean, it's a learning process to find the right types of foods that can suit your goals. Come here.
Right. So shortly before I was in contact with you, before I Googled Jacked After 40, which is interesting. That's how I found you. I had no clue there was a Jacked After 40. But shortly before that, I started to experiment with meal preps, and that has evolved quite a bit. I found that during a cut, beef doesn't work for me because that's a sweeping statement. Beef at a high frequency does not work for me because unless I'm taking in round steak or types of cuts that are super lean, it's really not a good consequence for me because there's high calories in that fat. So I've evolved from meal preps of a variety of food to now it's just brown rice, lots of a Normandy blend of vegetables and white chicken, breast meat, and it's bland. I deliberately undersalt it. I underseason it because, again, once the flip of the switch goes off, I'm off to the races, and I'm eating 3,000-4,000 calories.
It's there's going to be some people who would look at this and look at your diet and go, oh my God, I can't eat so bland and boring. But it's so important to know yourself. And Chief is really wanting to drill home this point of knowing how come here, Chief, come here, come on. Good boy. All right, let's get him in the video here. So it's so important to know that what's going to work for you. And I just find with so many people, flexible dieting, trying to work in all of your favorite foods, it can totally backfire on them because as soon as they have a little bit, they just can't control themselves. And it ends up, like you said, it's next thing you know, it's a 3,000, 4,000 calorie day and you're set back. It's not worth it to them. And like you said, that you can learn to, it's what's working for you, and you can learn to enjoy some of those meals maybe not necessarily the shake so much, but some of the meals, the bland, boring stuff can work for you.
Right. And I find myself enjoying, I have never enjoyed anything other than, the high calorie processed foods, but a banana is amazing to me. It's a candy bar. So I have to be careful with bananas with the food addiction. I really need to be careful with apples. The times that, and I've learned some deeper level of intuition. There's times where it's like, with my erratic sleep schedule, there are times where I'm able to delineate, and it's I'm in the infancy stages of knowing me, right? From this perspective, and there have been times where it usually happens about every 5-6 days where I have this. It's like evening, and it's a few hours before bedtime, and I feel this strong urge for fruit, or just but before this, it would have been a pound of dark chocolate, and whatever it was that I would be in denial about and just take in. Now I understand that it's my body saying, hey, I need some extra carbs. So if I have to bounce up a little bit by 100 calories or whatever it is, I'll have an apple, and I'll even compound with a few raspberries on top of those apple calories. And I find that sweet spot. I go to bed, I wake up, my waist is no larger, and I'm not feeling heavy, and I'm still on the road. Now, was it some people call it a cheat meal, some people call it a refeeding, but I really feel like it's just all utilitarian for me. It is all pragmatic. However, there's times where I have a craving for something, and I'm learning to delineate that it is not my body asking for more carbs. It's my brain saying, hey, I want to soothe some anxiety. I want to soothe some stress. So I ask myself, is this my body asking for more glucose, or is this my brain saying I need more sleep? So I'm able to figure out that, okay, with my erratic firefighter schedule and overtime and all these, caring for my son with type 1 diabetes, I'm able to go and force myself to sleep, and I wake up and it was a sleep that I needed.
It's again, what I have really been so impressed with you throughout this 12-week journey so far has been your mindset shift and your heightened sense of awareness with how your body is responding. And so many people, again, like you said, they automatically think it's something, a food is missing in their diet or something. But yeah, it's usually life stresses, and sleep are oftentimes the reason for intense cravings. Let's get into a little bit of like just how challenging this is for you. So you're a firefighter, you often work overtime hours as well. Sleep is all over the place. I think one of the biggest challenges for you initially was like the junk food at the office at the fire stations there. Like, so that was such a challenge for you initially, trying to overcome that. I remember the first few weeks, it was just the damn food there was such a challenge. Like what's it been like for you overcoming that? What kind of mindset shifts have taken place in order for you to, like, the temptations are all around you still, but now you're not caving into them?
Right. So I heard something recently. Someone said something to the effect of, the sinister thing about excuses is that they're fucking valid. And so, sorry about the effort, but they're valid. And that resonates with me because I am full of excuses to myself, right? So we have a food locker at work, and these kids who I work with, they're in their 20s and 30s, and they're all below 15% body fat, and they're running all these fire calls and EMS calls, and they're in great shape. All they need to do is spend an hour in the gym a day, and they're fine. However, for me, it's not. I've had to separate myself by way of age and stop with the dang excuses. So what has happened is that through reading The Hungry Brain, again, this this is kind of my reference for this whole episode is that, I've realized that I've had to sort of grow up a little bit and ask myself, what do you want, David? Like, do you want to continue with the valid excuses and just stay right where you are? Or do you want to lean up? Because, life is short, you're halfway through it. It'd really be nice to be lean as you have secretly wanted your entire adult life. Those are the conversations I've been having with myself. So it's either like I can come up with a valid excuse, or I can just be pragmatic and do what it takes. And what it takes is to figure out a way to separate myself from those high calorie foods. But the sub steps within that are to really go internal and have those conversations and ask myself whether or not is it the stress? Is it the lack of sleep? Is it the emotional burnout? What is it? Because I'm never able to escape being on someone else's time, because at home, I have a teenage son who has type 1 diabetes, and it requires me to be in sentry mode all night long as well, because he's got hormones that are shifting. And so I am administering either sugar for him or insulin. So I'm at the fire station or working overtime, and sometimes it equates to close to 80 hours a week. And then I come home and I'm dealing with him, and it's easy to get a case of what I call the fuck it's. Like, you know what? My life sucks. I can't get sleep. And you know what? Poor me. I'm going to go have a granola bar. And you know what? I'm going to dive into the dark chocolate almonds because I deserve it. I contribute so much. Well, you know what? That's all bullshit, because the end result is going to be the same regardless of what my excuses are. So I've learned to say no to myself, and to meditate, to sleep, and to be patient with those situations. And it's really tough, because when I listen to anyone online talk about, the foundations of fitness, one of those main pillars of fitness is sleep. So I have to get past that and accept the fact that I'm in a dogfight here, but I know what I want. And I've proven that, anyone who can make excuses, who right here is the first person to make excuses. If I make excuses and feel sorry for myself and walk around at 18% body fat, well, that's what it'll be. And I will be depressed and I will be disappointed, because I won't be living the best person that I want, who I think I can be. So I proved it to myself, not to anyone else. I proved to myself that regardless of the lack of control I have over my sleep, I can take naps, and I can be patient, and I can meditate, and I can lose weight. And at 48 years old, I'm happy about that.
You're kicking butt, my man. I freaking love it. And it's just, there's so much gold in everything that you just shared there. And it really did send back flashbacks to my transformation when I lost 50 pounds 11 years ago. It's having that heightened sense of awareness of those conversations going on in your mind, because it's so easy to justify the excess, to justify the indulgences, and to even like tell yourself, okay, I'm going to start again tomorrow. I'm going to start again Monday. And I had to come up with those counter arguments to that conversation. But it all starts with the awareness of, right, what's going on when I'm actually going to reach for these foods that I don't really want, that aren't they're not serving me in this moment, but I just keep going for them, and I'm justifying it. So I need to come up with some sort of counter argument. And you nailed a bunch of counter arguments there. And a lot of it really does come down to thriving, just being our best selves, doing this for us because we want to live our best lives. So dude, it's been amazing to see like the light bulb going off in your mind, like on a weekly basis here, and just the aha moments, the levels of awareness that you've been experiencing with how your body responds to all these different situations. Dude, I couldn't be more proud of you.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of it has a lot to do with damage control also. Like you start kind of screwing up, right? You're in the middle of something you shouldn't be eating, or, whatever. And you have, that yourself, I shouldn't say yourself because that's a sweeping statement, but me, I start to say, hey, Dave, what you're doing is not serving you well. And the little kid brain says, leave me alone. I'm feeling sorry for myself. I've already screwed up. I'm going to enjoy it. But that nurturing of that mental toughness for myself is says, no, there is some damage. However, we're going to keep running this race. I heard something recently in an interview. There's a woman who's a world champion, like marathon runner or triathlete. I'm not sure what her event was. However, what I took away from it was she was asked about her journey, about how she became so successful. And it resonated with me because, it really inspired me. She said that her first race, so she's like a world-class runner. But she said that her first races, she was in a dogfight for 40th place. She was in 41st place, and she was in a dogfight for 40th place. No ribbon, no trophy, no recognition, but she knew that she wanted to run. She ran for 40th place in the middle of this race against someone, and she passed that person, and that was her personal victory. And it's sort of the way I translate it to my life is that, yes, I'm not anywhere near great or anywhere as effective for myself as I want to be, but I want to be in that dogfight for 40th place. And then the next challenge, it'll be for 38th place. And the next time it'll be for 20th place. And hopefully I'll be my own champion when it comes, at a certain point when it comes to the fitness. And so that conversation often happens when I start damaging myself and I'm able to shut it down on good days. And that's important to me.
I love it, man. I love it. And what I really love is that you're constantly filling your mind with information and stories that are building you up, inspiring you, instilling a belief in yourself of what's possible. It's all positive stuff that's building you up. And I think that's so important in a world that is trying to like hold us down and beat us down, that we really nourish our minds with quality media and fuel. Yeah, it's that kicks butt, man. Now, so in regards to, I'd say, so diet tips, so things that worked for you have been, number one, like you kind of switched to a bit more of a bland and boring diet, a lot of just whole natural nutrient rich foods. Also, such a huge point that you touched on right out of the gates was you thought you were eating pretty healthy, which I hear all the freaking time. I eat healthy. I'm not sure why I can't lose weight, but it was tracking your intake was such an eye-opening experience for you, just to have that heightened sense of awareness. It's a bit of an education to how much you're actually consuming. And then you can start getting playful with, all right, what types of foods? It also opened your eyes to like, oh, my fiber is low and all these other different aspects you're kind of missing out in your diet. So tracking your food intake, as tedious as it may sound, it's an eye-opening educational experience. It's not going to be something you have to do for the rest of your life, but it really helps kind of guide you in the right direction. And it allows you to be playful as well and trying to fit certain foods that serve you best into a certain calorie target, and paying attention to how that calorie target is affecting you. Now, for you personally, I'm looking at your trend. You basically average about a pound a week. If you look at your trend for the past 12 weeks, a little bit more than a pound per week, which is it's spot on. And that's a great sign that it's a great calorie target for you to be aimed for. It's not, some people might look at it and they go, that's way too aggressive. There's no way you should be eating that little. And they got to also understand, I mean, there's errors in all this tracking. It could actually be more than 1,400 calories and all that stuff, but you're finding what is working for you, what's suiting you, the types of foods that make you feel more satiated, the types of foods that don't spike your cravings, your appetite and all that stuff. So you're just, the key thing is that you're working with your natural eating tendencies, and you're also working with the foods that are, again, serving your body the best in the right way. So dude, like, you've nailed your diet. Has there been any other kind of diet changes that you've made that have been helpful as well, in addition to the bland foods?
I'm not sure if supplements falls into that category. Just just baseline minerals and vitamins that I've been sort of just picking up tips from you from past episodes.
That's it.
How I think well, the most recent thoughts that I'm having on diet are timing and sort of I'm trying to figure out right now what works best for me during cuts. So right now I have a I'll be on the West Coast on the beach in 3 weeks. So I'm trying not to be too aggressive and become obsessed with this. I'm happy with what's going on. My moods are great, but I'm trying to figure out like pragmatically how does this whole thing work best for David. Being that my life's chaotic, I wake up. Oftentimes I'll wake up in because I'm working overtime. It's either my home fire station, it's at my residence, which I only spend 3-4 days a week at, or I will be at a fire station that I work overtime, across town. So I'm waking up I wake up and I realize that I've, slept in a strange place. And so it's difficult for me because I can't haul a blend. It wouldn't be very practical for me to haul a blender around and have my food, as a constant. So with the meal preps, those have been a lifesaver because they sort of give me something that's constant in my life. And I usually do 2 meal preps a day, and right now I'm doing 2 shakes a day, and then the other stuff is more fluid. So fluid meaning, I should say flexible, not fluid as in fluid. But I'm finding that now during this cut, what's helping me is to wake up. My first meal is a shake that's an unblended shake with a whole piece of fruit. And I know that I have priorities every day that I need to take in. I need to take in at least 25 grams of fiber. So I start with the raspberries right away. And then I start with that real strong tasting Maca shake with protein Maca, that whole thing that can be handshaken. So I take that. So I have I've met some hydration, I've met some nutrition. So that's sort of been, and very recently that has become my what I have found that does not bloat me, does not become unprocessed, because I don't know what's going to happen for the day, especially at the fire station. I don't know if I'm going to be sitting doing administrative stuff for my folks, or I'm going to be running a fire call. So I know that it'll process and it won't sit in my stomach if I end up at a desk for 2-3 hours. It's doing what it needs to do for my cells. And then shortly after that, I will have my small breakfast, and then so I'm started building a routine. And there's other details to the rest of the day, but I'm finding that there are some things I can stay consistent with, and that has been my main focus now, because I figured out the calorie thing. I figured out what works for me, what doesn't work for me. Now I'm figuring out where to plug those in the day, and I think I sort of have it almost figured out. That is what I'm doing. And so that never puts me so there are times where I am at a fire, managing a commercial fire all night long. And it's happened since we've been working together, and I'm sitting there starving. And then here comes a rehab truck with calories. These kids are digging in, and I'm sitting there hungry as hell. They're eating granola bars and hamburgers, and I'm either hungry or I take part. I haven't been taking part, so I've been miserably hungry. So I'm learning that what these young kids call hacks. I'm using my hacks, right? So I make sure that in my response vehicle, I have a banana, I have an apple, I have raspberries, and I have baby carrots, and I have my protein shake. So I know that there is my cushion, my nutritional cushion. That is what I'm learning, is how to plug it in and when to plug it in. So there's times I can control, and there's times where I cannot control.
I love it, man. That's because we all know we're going to be facing challenges, and being prepared for those challenges is absolutely key. So I love how you've been meal prepping and just you're ready for those obstacles. Like, bring it on. I can handle it. I know what I need to do to get this done. And that's the reason why you've been able to make consistent progress here. Let's talk a bit about how you're measuring progress. Because I mean, we're tracking our weight initially. It started like with daily weigh-ins, but what's your goal and what is your preferred method for tracking your progress at this point?
So my goal is reference from what Larry Scott and the other guy back in the 40s, the two guys who were really trying to figure out male symmetry. I forget Steve Reeves. Yeah, those guys. They did some research that I found that they studied sculptures from ancient Greece, and it was like height and weight. Everything starts at height and weight, and I thought that's perfect for me. That's where I want to start. So for my height, a 29.5-inch waist is where that starts. And I believe you told me it's called the Adonis Index. So I haven't researched that yet, but anyway, that's where it all starts. So right now I have gone from and I mean, we're talking the legitimate body. I didn't realize that the legitimate bodybuilder waist measurement is like right at the belly button or just a hair above it. Boy, that sucks, because if I measure low where the belt is, it's a much more pleasant number to hear. So I started at like 38-ish, I think it was, and now I'm down to, this morning it was 32 inches. So my goal is to be at 29.5 inches. I still have the dad bod stuff going on at the love handle stuff. So I'm working on those right now while maintaining. Try not to get too obsessed about the shoulder to weight or the loss right now of any mass that I sort of think I have. I think that my strength is maintaining, and I'm not really losing measurements, circumferentially around my arms or my shoulders. So it's just my waist continues to drop. So that my short-term goal, one step at a time kind of goal, is to have a well-defined six-pack. I'm actually, if I flex, you can see a six-pack. That feels good. And if which I've never seen, ever seen. So 32 to 29.5, and then the secondary goal would be like once the fall season comes, I want to start working on a little bit of shoulder ratio, which is the 1.6. So that would put, I think I need to be at like 47 inches, and right now I'm at 46. So those are my goals, and they may not be very attainable, but they're numeric, and I'm okay with the journey and never reaching it. I'm okay with that. And I really want to really have muscle separation. I think that the illusion, as Frank Zane talks about, is really cool. And it's happening for me. Like, I'm seeing it in my back, starting, very early stages of that, my shoulders. It's really cool to see. As far as numbers is with weight, I've sort of had to relinquish my right to be obsessed about my weight. I'm kind of done with it. Like, it's a good benchmark. It sort of helps me to have an idea of what my body mass index may be, but that's that. And so once a month, I'm measuring my body composition with the InBody machine, as well as, and I try to build in some redundancy with that. So I do the calipers, and then the same day I'll do the InBody and try to get like a measurement. Now, I understand that numbers are just numbers, and your weight, your measurements, none of that really matters. It's when the aspiration is aesthetics, but it helps me to just kind of benchmark it. That's what I'm using.
Right. I love it. So aesthetics is the goal. Yeah, my buddies over at the Adonis Index, it was like the golden ratio that they were referencing that as like the 1.6. I think it's all like pi, or it's related to pi or something. It's like all the statues, even like a lot of buildings and stuff. It's all got to do with this, like the most aesthetically pleasing stuff. It has that 1.6 ratio there. And like, you can definitely get your waist down there, and then shoulders, like only needing to, not only like shoulders, adding an inch on your shoulders will look ridiculously amazing. So you're looking at like half an inch to each shoulder, and like you're not just talking like outwards there. So you build up a little bit the front, the side, and the back. Like that's going to increase that overall shoulder size there. So I think it's a solid look. And even if you don't, even if you just come close to that, you're going to have that V tapered look that's just going to be freaking incredible. You and I have had talks about this. I've just, it's a lot easier for me. I hit that golden ratio because I naturally have longer clavicle bones, so my structure makes it easier. I don't need as much muscle mass on my shoulders to hit that ratio. So that can be the tough part. And some people just naturally have thicker waists as well, and wider hips makes it a little bit tougher too. But yeah, I love that you're going for body fat percentage and not worrying so much about the scale, but just kind of using the scale as, all right, I'm trending in the right direction. But it's the appearance, it's the look in the mirror, it's the look that you're fascinated with. You have a healthy fascination with the body and seeing the details and really looking at it as a work of art, as a sculpture, like all these Greek gods and statues of the past there. So that I just love that you're taking that approach as your goal rather than just focusing on scale weight.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it for me, what's worked for me is acceptance of my genetics. You know, like throughout my entire life, I've been in a poor me attitude about genetics. I have very long arms for my height. They're skinny, and I have short clavicles. However, like, why not just try to be the best that I could be? No, you know, with and setting aside the ego in the gym, which has just injured me because I'm just not a big, heavy lifting kind of person. And you know, comparing my clavicles to someone else's and why even work for it, kind of stuff. It's just all negative energy that does nothing, you know. So other than just send me downward spiraling. So yeah, it's just like a lot of it's acceptance, and I think that it would really, you know, help to continue in that direction. You know, yeah, it may not be 1.6, it may never be that, but what is my genetic potential? I have no clue because I've been feeling sorry for myself for the last 20 years. But now I am I'm on a quest to ascertain.
I love it, brother. I love it, brother. And it's, you are on a mission. I love it. I love the personal growth that I'm seeing you experience on a daily basis. It's been mind blowing for me to think of how much you have grown just in the past 12 weeks. And it blows my mind hearing your history, your past and everything. Like you said, you haven't been lean, like you've never seen the abs and all that stuff. So what have your genetics been like in the past? What has your lifestyle been like in the past prior to all of this?
You just related to my activity levels and my aspirations. Okay. Well, so obviously I've always been active. My job requires it. And I've always, you know, liked fitness, but I've never really admitted to myself nor anyone else that aesthetics was my goal. It's like, that's for some reason, I just didn't want to admit that. And I think it had to do with my lack of self-belief. So I've done, you know, I've had phases in my life where I would do the CrossFit thing and tell myself I'm here for functional fitness, but not really, you know. And lift in the gym, and I do really heavy deadlifts for my ability, and I go in and, you know, work out, but it was always like functional. You know, I want to lift heavy. But I never entered a powerlifting contest or anything like that. And it's because I wanted to be aesthetically upgraded, but never admitted it. So it's always been dabbling in, you know, the bodybuilding gyms, in the CrossFit gyms, body weight exercises. It's been very consistent throughout my life. Jiu-jitsu, and you know, I sort of get in shape, start to feel some muscularity, but that the midsection was just never something that I was able to accomplish. So it's been extremely enlightening to be able to be in contact with you I just want to express my gratitude for that. I know that this is an interview about me, but I just want to tell you that, thank you. I want to thank you for not dying with the information that you have and the experience you have and the hardships that you experience with fitness, and that you're, passing that on to us. It's great, because it would have just been knowledge for one person, and this is great because it has changed my life. And many times, we have desires, but we just don't know what to do with it. And we don't know. Yeah, we don't know what to do with the desire. We don't know what direction to point it in, and which way to have belief. So thank you for instilling confidence and in your clients and those who listen to you, and to be able to, because it's a really large responsibility to have a high number of people buy into the idea and to believe what you're doing. And then, because it's courageous, and it's vulnerability. It's like, I got to believe in this theory because I don't know for myself what to do. And I am very grateful for your contribution. It's huge, humongous.
Dude, I appreciate you so much. And I like it, sharing this journey with you is so incredibly rewarding for me. And hearing you share your experiences and journey with everyone who's watching this video now, or listening to it on iTunes or wherever they're listening to it. Like, it's, again, like, it's so important for us to share our experiences. And like, this is you finding your own way. It's not like I'm giving you, this is exactly how I ate to get lean. This is exact workout I did to get lean. This is the lifestyle I followed. No, it's you taking some guidance there and sculpting it to your lifestyle, what's working best for you, and then sharing that with others in hopes that maybe they'll pull some golden nuggets from your journey, and it'll provide the fuel for them to embark on a transformation themselves. So I absolutely love getting clients like you on these videos here and podcasts to share your experiences, because it's man, it's powerful. Everyone's journey is powerful, and I don't think most people realize that, like, when they embark on some sort of transformation, like, just sharing what's working for them can have a big impact on someone else's life. And then that person can have an impact on many other lives. So it spreads, it's a domino effect. So I really appreciate you coming on to share your experiences with everyone today.
Sure.
Dude, this has been awesome. I freaking love it. And I will get you on again. We have so much more we need to talk about. And I really want to dive more into your past and how you've grown and everything. But just sharing some of these golden nuggets in regard to the changes you made to your diet, the mindset shift, that awareness, catching yourself in that moment, and just knowing, just striving for that best version of yourself, like stopping yourself in that moment. This is not going to serve me right now. This is not going to get me closer to what I want to achieve. And I know you've got incredible goals yourself right now. We're at a great stage in our lives where, like you said, like halfway through our life, like it's time to take charge. And I think it's a fork in the road where some people can go down a really dark path. It's just a life of just merely existing compared to a life of thriving. And like, this is our opportunity to really make a difference in the world and to live our lives to the fullest. It's great to see. I mean, you inspire me and bring out the best in me. So I appreciate you big time, my man.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, we would love you if you just smash that thumbs up button for us, let us know, and drop a comment down below to let us know what golden nuggets resonated best with you. Before you go, don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40. Have yourself an amazing day. We'll catch you in the next podcast.